Good morning, friends. Now, today we have another opportunity to learn more about the philosophy of homeopathy and how it has been developed. Right from the beginning, the evolution of homeopathy is getting wider and wider. And with these aspects, we have tried to understand the meaning of the old words that were taken into the homeopathic perspective also. In this aspect, the chronicity and the acuteness, we have to consider that the meanings related in the general way as well as in the way that it has been applied in our homeopathic system of the medicines. As we know, the term chronic and acute are being used in every medical professional understanding for the nature of the diseases as, as understood from the perspective principle applied with a specific system of the medicines. Both are very in nature and they have been, there was no specific meaning related to it. And but with the gradual changes, with the limitation of the way of application of medicines, brought a different system of the medicines based on the way medicines were used. Now we today earlier there was no such type of the medical philosophy. It was simply the whatever being experiences and observations. But now with the gradual systematizations and relations that has been understood gradually, we have started thinking about the nature, exactness nature of the every terms. And so, so earlier chronic nature are was related to the duration of the disease and chronic with the tendency to prolong for a longer period. It was, but when we consider the duration of the disease, uh, even the disease, there is no measurement aspects related to it. So we have to think that what should be the criteria for have the consider the chronicity. Earlier, it was thought to be the prolonged durations with where there is no answer to it. So it is established fact that were being used. So and acuteness was taken for the severity of the disease condition. So severity and sensitivity are the two aspects that we have to understand. Sensitivity are very individual in nature for every patient, and for the same type of the pain, the different patients are having the different acuteness or different severity for them. Even the mild pain can be very severe for the very sensitive and hypochondriac patients. They are very fiery and they are very sensitive to witness any, and there are some wide other aspects. So in these aspects, the uh, acuteness and chronicity word remains a vague terminology which we are being used with the duration of the disease, longer duration and shorter duration. But what is the definition for the longer durations and what is the definition for the shorter durations? This is very important aspect that we have to consider. Then critical illness are there, which is very critical, and the patient are admitted in the ICU, and they are on the life-saving drugs. So whether they are the chronic illness or they are the acute illness. So these understandings needs more clarifications for this. And for these aspects, it is necessary that there must be a measurement aspects for both chronicity and the acuteness. And how to measure them is one or with the period of the durations or with the some other aspects, some natures also. And it is also important that we must have the progressive understanding about the utility of this chronicity and durations for the follow-up of the cases. Patient is getting better or it is worse. It has to be decided based on the follow-up understandings about about the disease. The follow-up requires a proper clarifications. It should be a measured one to find out whether the disease is on the progressive mode or it is on the declining mode. So now it is nowadays what we see in other system of the medicines and also in the general medical terminology, there are some instrument and some scales being developed for the measurement of the disease. Like pain has to be measured, and there are some what should be the limited, what should be called, which type of the pain should be called as mild pain, which type of the pain has to be called as the severe pain or chronic pain. This measurement scales are being drawn, and different scales are being followed, and each one comes with way of the scales. Stress conditions, several factors are there which needs more considerations and more scaling. So nowadays the research are being carried out on the basis of measurement of the progress. What is the what way the patient is progressing, in which way, and it has to be a measured one. And also for the our follow up of the case during our treatment process, the chronicity and the acuteness, it needs to be measured properly. So this understanding is being growing up in the medical system of the medicine, and we in the homeopathy also requires measurement for the homeopathy for the disease conditions. Now coming to the homeopathic aspects of measurement and chronicity and the acuteness, we have some very specific meaning for the acuteness and the chronic. For the acute case, we say that it is self-limiting cases. Self-limiting means the duration of actions are very limited. It has to terminate. It has to go away within the life period only. It may be the severe. It may be very critical, but it has to go. It is not going to live with the patient permanently. It may be that patient may die along with the severity, but it has to go. The terminology termination is fixed with the chronic. This is very we have that has been understood by Dr. Henneman in his classification of the diseases. Similarly, the chronic disease is also understood as the patients which has got the which there is no limitations of it is infinite. It will be carried on for the lifelong. Along with it, it runs parallel to the life. It is running parallel to the life. It is very important. Parallel to the life. That means it is going to stay. It has become the part of the life. Part of the life. As means there are parallel system working within a patient. His life principles as well as the disease principles. There may be one disease principle, there may be two disease with the complexity, two disease principles, as many as it may be possible. But they will continue and they will many ups and downs. The severity will be changing or tolerance will be changing. There may be there, but they will not go away. This was the understanding brought by Dr. Henneman. And Dr. Henneman also tried to have a measurement for this chronicity as well as the acuteness. He called that, he found that this chronicity are very, is a very wide and vague terminology. How long? It is going, it is okay that it will continue forever. But in which state? And what will be the condition of the patient during these prolonged durations? And with this also finding also and his treatment understandings and his research understandings on several systems, he came up with the evolutionary process of the disease as well as the mathematic principles. Now, this is wonderful contribution made by Dr. Henneman with the discovery of the miasma. The miasma, the three miasma, the polluting factors, it is the extent of the pollution, extent of the impact of the disease on the life, to what level the disease has entered into, and in what way the patient is going to suffer. This has been well defined by Dr. Henneman with the SORA, syphilis, and the psychosis. Now, when we take up the SORA, and it is the superficial features, that means it has not touched the vital principle, or it may have the very little impact on the vital principles. So they may have the sufferings will be continuing, and but on the superficial aspects, and there is no threat or very little threat to the life, danger of the life. So that means a patient can survive with the itching. A patient can survive with some of the physical conditions, gastric problems, which are at the soric level for a longer period with little or more sufferings with their life, but they are not going to have their harmful effect on the vital plane. And coming to the psychosis, it gets created with the functional disorders. That means the functions is getting changed. Functions are getting changed. That means the functions are getting, that is, it is little inner inside. It has just entered beyond the superficial level to the second level of the life, and where it has, but still it has to disturb, make a changes in the vital brain. It has made some changes on the structural plane of the physical body and the mental body, physical life, and as well as the mental life, but it has not made basic changes on the vital plane. As we know that life has got the three plane: mental plane, vital plane, and the physical plane. Physical plane is on the outer side. Mental plane, mental plane are little inside, and then the inside that is the vital plane. So the functional as well as the structural as well as the distractions. These are the aspects that comes with the understanding of the SORA, syphilis, and the psychosis. Coming to the syphilis, it is the degenerative process has started. That means, and degenerations can take place only when the vitality is completely unable to take care of the both plane, mental and the physical plane. So disease now starts changing. So these are the, I think Dr. Henneman might have thought about the measurement of the disease conditions with respect to the SORA, syphilis, and the psychosis. His understanding was quite clear when he thought about the SORA, syphilis, and the psychosis. And this aspect of understanding makes us to think about the possibilities of using them and having a measuring scales along with that. So in homeopathy also, we can draw the several scales for the measurement of the progress of the disease conditions of the patient. This can happen. This can happen with our understandings and making a more research-oriented study of the case history of the patients. So research orientation is very important for every case that we are undertaking, that we are following up with the patient, and this aspect will help us in understanding the patients in a better way. So friends, let us start thinking. Just this is my initiative lectures regarding the having a research-oriented understanding about the chronicity and the acuteness that began with our master Dr. Henneman, and we have to go still further to make it more prospective and more clarified for our understanding. So with these things, I have given you a food for the thoughts about the measurement of the chronicity and the acuteness, which is which is the need of the time, and to define, because everything has to be defined properly, and this is the aspect of the research methodology. and research methodology understandings is essential for the practice of homeopathic system of the medicines as well as the entire medical system of the medicine. In absence of the research methodology, our progressive growth will be hampered. We will not have a very good experience. We cannot utilize our experience for our future generations or even for our own life. So this is research oriented aspects that I wanted to communicate with you, share with you my understanding. And for today, I stop my lectures here and we will come again with more understanding about the chronicity and the acuteness. Friends, it is essential for you to go through the original textbook of homeopathy, that is the organon of the medicines and the chronic disease. Because chronic disease was the place where Hahnemann made a fundamental understanding about the chronicity, and it has been summarized into the organon of medicines in the foreign format as a classifications of the disease. So with these things, we have to keep learning, going into the details. Each and every aspect is important. So friends, with this, I stop my lecture here and we will come again with new thoughts. Thank you very much for having a nice and patient listening.